I keep waiting for Bendis to write something, anything good, but it's not happening. It's only gonna get worse. Bendis' Jinx World books are starting to come off hiatus, and he has several more projects lined up. I'm really confused now. The entire lead up to Event Leviathan is contained in the pages of Brian Michael Bendis' Action Comics. Not even the Silencer, which features the Leviathan organization and its leader Talia al Ghul, hinted at the story in Event Leviathan. Bendis is DC Comics' sole voice for their iconic hero Superman. Yet inexplicably, Event Leviathan is a Batman story. I just don't get it. Shouldn't the lead to a Batman story happen in the pages of, I don't know, Batman? Maybe Detective Comics? Event Leviathan #1 was a major letdown. Bendis worked for months putting some of the pieces in place for the story. Not the Batman pieces, have you, but a lot of the other ones. The lead-up moved at an unbelievably slow pace. Event Leviathan #1 was more the same, featuring little action and endless dialogue. This event is only 6 issues total. Surely Bendis picks up the pace and gets the story moving in issue 2. Not so fast. Event Leviathan #2 is just as boring and stale as the first. It's unbelievable Bendis is a third of the way through his first big DC Comics event book, and it's still uneventful. I am glad the story features a number of DC characters that deserve more spotlight. The Question, Plastic Man, Manhunter, and Red Hood are all exciting additions to the roster. Unfortunately, it's written by Bendis. He forgoes all character history and traits and writes most of them however the hell he wants, the majority of the issue. I came into Event Leviathan expecting some professional redemption for Bendis. It features a host of characters that fit his strengths as a writer, or at least did at one time. I'm convinced he has few, if any, strengths anymore. He clearly doesn't research the characters he uses, has no interest in DC continuity, and splashes pages with unending, tiresome dialogue and exposition. Oh, I don't recommend this book if you haven't picked up what I'm putting down yet. Speaking of the Caped Crusader, before I get started, I want to let everyone know the comics aficionados are live and unfiltered this Saturday on Thinking Critical YouTube. Batman uber nerd Tristan from Nerdette's Newsstand joins the panel to break down The Dark Knight. We're going to debate the current state of Batman comics, the best and worst story arcs, writers, and eras for DC Comics' flagship character. If you're a fan of Batman, come join the comics aficionados live and unfiltered this Saturday. Now I'm going to try to break this comic book down without putting everyone to sleep. Let's do it. Event Leviathan is a boring book with a severely unfocused story arc. It does feature one pretty cool reveal in the final pages of the book, or would have if Brian Michael Bendis didn't spoil it on his creator credits page. Bendis' Superman books feature introductory pages with clues about the story in his book. Normally it's very boring and hardly revealing. But this go around, I actually read all the clues since they're mostly comprehensible. And right down here, in the bottom right corner, it reveals Damian Wayne Robin suspects Jason Todd is Leviathan. Now we all know he's not, but it makes readers aware during the entire interaction between Jason and Bruce that he's a lead suspect, i.e. the big reveal at the end of this comic book. DC editorial can't be waterboarded fast enough for allowing a full-on spoiler for the book's cliffhanger 20 pages before it happens. Alex Maleev has very stylized artwork that doesn't fit every character or story. His visuals worked for Event Leviathan's mystery thriller vibe pretty well. So far, most of the characters are more street level. I don't see Maleev's style working for more virtuous characters like Superman or Wonder Woman, who I assume are arriving shortly. The event is launched in the pages of Action Comics. Maleev's art, but it's hard to make characters standing around and recapping previous events look cool. I think they picked the wrong artist for Event Leviathan, but they picked the wrong writer too, so at least it's consistent. I rate the art in Event Leviathan #2, 3 out of 5. I might not be very impressed with Alex Maleev's art, but it's miles ahead of Bendis' writing on the story. Event Leviathan #1 ended with Batman, Lois Lane, and Green Arrow stating they needed to stop Leviathan before dawn or the world would be lost. This issue is basically running down the events that preceded it while providing a few new details. And apparently the team of detectives are recruiting all new members in a matter of minutes. Why are all these heroes in Seattle? Plastic Man can't fly? What business does Jason Todd have being here? Anyway, we all know Bendis ain't explaining any of this happenstance. Here, Jason Todd asks, can we put away the stuff between us so we can work the case? Didn't Jason Todd just try to kill Batman more or less unprovoked recently? Why is he acting like Bruce is the only one with beef between the two of them? Their relationship is way more complex than Bendis is making it out to be here. It would take a lot more than a couple words for the two to agree to work together again, in my opinion. Bruce tells Jason Todd about Sam Lane's run-in with Leviathan. He and Amanda Waller are the only survivors from Argus. The Question set up shop in Lane's hospital room, waiting for whoever would visit. The room has armed guards. While the Question waits, he hears their speech start to break down. The guards sound like they're very high and wanting to do the funky chicken. A man dressed in S&M gladiator armor enters the room. He and the Question start fighting in Sam Lane's hospital room before a shot is fired directly through the mystery S&M gladiator's head. He's killed instantly. It's revealed Lane fired the fatal shot. The Question tells him it's an honor, and Sam Lane then shoots him through the shoulder. I guess this is to keep readers guessing if he's a Leviathan agent. I don't buy it for a second. Unfortunately, the Question isn't able to take the body, but does ID him as Casey Kleba, an Argus agent, before he exits. The first confirmed defection from one of the targeted clandestine organizations to Leviathan. The team need to retrieve the body and gain evidence about Casey Kleba and what happened to him. For reasons, they recruit Plastic Man. I personally like the character, but this book is far too serious for the character, and Bendis' humor has aged about as well as Carrot Top's. It's pretty brutal trying to read his version of Plastic. It rivals Fail Simone for sheer randomness and lack of actual laughs. He basically speaks gibberish the whole time, which wouldn't be that bad except for one reason. Leviathan's first prolonged appearance in DC Comics is opposite Bendis' incoherent, douche version of Plastic Man. Leviathan claims Kleba died in service of Leviathan. Not sure if he's talking about himself or the organization, but I think that's by design. Plastic spouts some gibberish about his biological father, while Leviathan gives a few clues. He states Plastic knows who he is. He is Justice League, All-Star Squadron, Freedom Fighters, Secret Six, etc. My assumption is this is a known character who has awareness of the DC multiverse. He tries recruiting Plastic before he and the body are teleported or something. This is about as much new information as Bendis provides this issue. What an absolute waste of Leviathan's first meaningful interaction in the story. Red Hood and Batman talk through the evidence. I don't know why Bendis is trying to frame Talia al Ghul, Amanda Waller, Sam Lane, and Steve Trevor as suspects. First, they've already ruled out Talia multiple times in multiple issues prior. On a side note, at one point in the story, Batman states, "All we know is that Talia used to run something called Leviathan, and it's been taken from her." Does Bendis really expect us to believe Batman isn't fully aware of Talia's Leviathan organization? Ridiculous. Second, third, and fourth, Waller, Lane, and Trevor were all nearly killed by Leviathan. Sure, Waller freaked out at the Fortress of Solitude, but Batman would know she isn't involved. I'm not sure why Bendis is trying to make the team of super detectives look super dense. Finally, Todd asks Bats if the team has a number one suspect. It's Red Hood himself. Damian says the Tech, Scope, and Anarchy all point to him as the prime suspect. He states he doesn't think Jason even knows he's doing it, teasing he may be one of the Secret Six infected by the Batman Who Laughs pathogen in the You're the Villain story. Red herring if I've ever seen one. Green Arrow asks, "Where's Batgirl?" "You're the last one to see her, jerk off." Plastic notes the armor on the Leviathan soldier looks remarkably like a Batman design. Batman only has 50 understudies with access to the exact same technology. Leviathan is likely a character we know, with knowledge of the DC multiverse, has access to technology likely not of this world, and Batman designs. Leviathan is a Batman-related character from a different timeline in the multiverse, likely an alternate version of Jason Todd or Batman himself. I'm not even the world's greatest detective and figured it out already. Red Hood puts his gear on and runs for it with Batman's team of detectives in hot pursuit and wasting their time on the wrong man. The story in Event Leviathan number 2 is boring and repetitive. The big reveal is spoiled 20 pages before it even happens. The characterization is all over the place. I rate the writing 1.5 out of 5. Brian Michael Bendis put in months of work in the pages of Action Comics to set up a Batman event. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but okay. He's now recapping his month's worth of setup in the pages of the actual event. I find this all terribly frustrating as a reader. I like Maleev's art for a crime noir book, but it doesn't really fit here. Although it's hard to make two guys talking for pages on end look interesting. Bendis continues struggling to find his footing in the DC Comics universe. I rate Event Leviathan number 2, 2 out of 5. Don't read this if you're already caught up. It's basically pointless. If you're not caught up, don't read anything associated with Event Leviathan. It's just a really boring, uninteresting story with pretty okay artwork. Most everything the narrative provides are red herrings. I keep waiting for Bendis to write something, anything good, but it's not happening. It's only going to get worse. Bendis' Jinx World books are starting to come off hiatus, and he has several more projects lined up. A tall task for an in his prime writer. Bendis' sell-by date has long since passed. He appears to be operating on fumes and in way over his head at DC Comics. Prospective readers who pick up Superman, Action Comics, or Event Leviathan are likely to walk away from the hobby immediately. DC Comics needs to address their Bendis blunder. This garbage is costing them readers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.